Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is about the flow control in C++, and our focus is on the use of FLs. In flow control, there are many types of statements that you can use. Those are like for loops, do, the while loop, the break, continue, the switch, and the go to statement. But our focus for now is the use of the FLs. But we have to start first with the if statement before we proceed with this one, FLs. Okay, so of course you will learn how to write a program using with the if else condition, because there are cases where problems required a decision making. So let's get started. All right, in programming we use the if statement one to run a particular block of code only when a certain condition is met. Okay, let's have an example. Let me say our grades are equivalent to A, B, and C. So we will assign the grades A, B, and C on the marks obtained by each student. So we can create a certain condition for this one. First example, if the percentage is above 90, then we can assign the grade to A. If the percentage is above 75, we will assign this to grade B. Oops. However, if the percentage is above 65, then we can assign to grade C. So this kind of problem, we can use the if else condition. Okay, so that's an example. We can apply the method of using the if statement. Okay, before we do the actual demonstration on how to use it in the C++, let's discuss first the theory and the syntax of the C++, particularly on the use of the if statement. Okay, there are three forms of if else statement. So we have here number one, the if statement. Second, we have the if else statement. And third, we have the if, else if, then else statements. So these are the three common forms of if else statements. So the syntax for if statement would look like this. Okay, so this one, if, then the condition, then followed by the open close curly braces, and inside the body of if statement, this is where you put the code, what you want to happen in your code. And for the if else statement, the syntax would be if, then the condition, here's your code, and then of course it should be inside the open close curly braces followed by else. Okay, so this is the format, then another one, which is the body of statement. However, if you will be using the if, else, then the syntax would be like this. For now, in this discussion, we will start discussing first the if statement before we proceed this if else and if else. Alright, now let's proceed. Okay, using the if statement, note the code inside this open close curly brace is the body of the if statement. So whatever would be our condition here, Depends what they want to appear in here. Example, let's try to read this one. If statement evaluates the condition inside the parentheses, meaning whatever is inside on this condition. And in this case, we will be using the relational, the logical, and the bitwise operator for this case. Okay. So, if the condition evaluates it true, the code inside the body of F, this one, is executed. Meaning if this one has been met, then this code, whatever you have encoded here, will be executed. Okay. If the condition evaluates to false, the code inside the body is of F, this one will be skipped, meaning instead of reading, the program will not read this part, but instead it will skip, move on to the next line of the code. That's how the if statement will work. Okay, let's proceed. So assuming we have here a code, we're going to add a declaration here. Number is assigned to a value of 10. Okay, and in here, if number, so this is our condition, if number is greater than 0, then this one the program will try to read. It means it will try to read the next line of code inside the body, whatever the code in here, instead of skipping on this part. But instead, it will read whatever code that you have written here. So this is what we call the condition is true. So if number is greater than 0, obviously, what's the value of our number, which is 10, then our condition is true. However, let's try to copy this code in here. And the only difference with this one is that, as you noticed, our condition, which we use the less than in this part, less than. So if number is less than 0, and means, so the program here will try to read this part. Instead of reading the code in here, it will go directly to what is your instruction on this part. Code after the if condition. Okay, this is how the if statement using when the condition is false, because this one is false. As you can see, the value of number is 10. And what our condition here? Number is less than 0, which is false, right? Okay. Let's proceed now. So we're going to add an example here. Write a program to print a positive number entered by the user. If the user enters a negative number, then it will be skipped. Okay? Try to analyze the code again. We're going to write a program that will determine whether it's a positive number. Of course, we will find out if the user will enter any number. However, if the user enters a negative number, then it will skip. So it will follow this format. If we entered a negative number, then it will not read the instruction here. Instead, it will proceed to the next condition. Okay, so let's try to write a program in here. Okay, I'll just accept this one and open this part. Okay, so in this case, we're going to put a comment here. Let me say this program will print positive number entered by the user. Okay, second line. So this is our condition. If the user enters a negative number, then it will be skipped. Okay, so let's start now writing the code. Of course, we have to start with number include IO stream and okay, using namespace std. Okay, and next is our main function, which is the int main, and curly brace, open close curly brace. So in here I will be declaring a number. So this is my variable name number. I don't put any value yet because we will be asking the users to enter value. Then here we will ask the user to enter, okay, enter a number. Okay, enter a number, then semicolon. And since we will be asking the user to enter a value, then we will be using the command sin. Then the instruction operator, which is one number. So this one, number, is referring to the variable name that we have declared. So whatever the user will be entering or encoding here, it will be stored in our variable number. Okay, now let's proceed. So in this case, we're going to, on this part, we're going to checks if the number is positive. On this part of code, we're going to check whether the number is positive. So we will be using the command if. Then inside our parentheses is our condition. So our condition is we will be calling up the variable number, the one that we have declared. If number is greater than 0, because if it is less than, automatically it becomes a negative number. However, 0 and up are considered positive numbers. Right? So we're going to put here the open close braces. Then inside this one, we will put the condition. If it is true, then we can display cout. Example, you will say you entered a positive number. Okay, and then I will just display here and call up the value, which is the number referring to the number that entered by the user. Then NL and line. So in this case, I can add another one here. So this is an example and the previous example where we put in here on this part, okay, code after if. Okay, this part, code after if. Then cout, this statement is always executed. Example, this statement always executed, meaning it will always run. But actually this is optional. This is only for the demonstration purposes. Alright, now we had to complete our code. Let's try to check whether something wrong or missing a character or incorrect spelling. Okay, assuming that it's okay now, then we can run the code. Okay, now I'm compiling the code. So enter a number. If I'm going to enter 5 in here, of course, press enter. So you entered a positive number, which is 5. Okay, this statement is executed. So this is an example of what we called when the condition is true, because the number that we entered is 5. 5 is greater than 0. However, if we're going to run this one again and try to enter -1, example, if we're going to look at here, if it is less than, it will go to next skip. All right, enter. So the result of this one is statement is always executed. Okay, it will skip because the condition is false. It will not display this statement. You entered a positive number. Okay, as you noticed here, the program still running. Okay, so when the user, again, when the user enters 5 in the previous number that we entered, the condition, which is number greater than 0, evaluated to true, and the statement inside the body of if is executed. However, in this case, we entered the -1, so the user, which is me, the one who entered -1, the condition, our condition here is number is greater than 0, which is evaluated to false because 5 is actually, the -1 is actually not a positive number, it's a negative number. Then it will be evaluated as false. It means this part will not be executed. Instead, it will skip into the next line of the code. Okay, so something wrong with my connection, that's why it's not displaying. However, the output here, it will display this part. This statement is always executed of this part. Okay, so that's an example of using the if statement condition.